closely or yelling at another driver, to hitting a vehicle on purpose or getting out to confront a driver. The most aggressive drivers? Men aged 19 to 39.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers, Fox News. We report, you decide.
Napa know-how!
Cold weather slows your battery down. But if it's hot enough to cook breakfast on your hood, your battery could be toast. So pick up a Napa Legend battery today, and you'll get a $15 rebate Visa card by mail. That's $15 back and a new battery. In case your old one gets fried. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Some exclusions apply. Offer expires 7/31/16.
Geico applauds your inner ride leader.
An enthusiastic engine rev goes out to the biker in you who leads the pack. Even if that pack is a party of one, you're still a leader to Geico. To prove it, Geico will insure your motorcycle with great rates and 24/7 customer service. And with Geico by your side, you're never cruising solo, which means you've just been nominated as a real ride leader. Congrats! The smell of fine leather and trailblazing is in your future.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. This week is the annual meeting of the American Peanut Research and Education Society in Clearwater, Florida. President Tom Stalker said this week that they'll have 148 papers and posters being presented on peanuts. Opening this general session for the convention was Ken Barton of Florida Peanut Producers and Adam Putnam, the Florida Agricultural Commissioners. They heard in the opening session dealing with disasters, stories from the front line of the war on citrus greening disease. Dr. Tim Brenham of the University of Georgia also had a speech about peanut diseases from an international perspective and an update from the National Peanut Board. The symposium this year is on translating genome sequence to peanut improvement, organized by the University of Georgia, Dr. Peggy Ozias. And that is a major project, about a $6 billion project over 3 years, coordinated by Aprius.
Producers save big this growing season when you make the switch to a clean, efficient propane irrigation engine. First, you'll save up to 40% on the purchase compared with an equivalent diesel engine. Then save up to 50% on operating costs. Finally, you can say goodbye to high maintenance costs. Propane engines are EPA and Tier 4 compliant without any of the expensive fluids or filters required for diesel. Add it all up, and propane is second only to rain when it comes to savings. Learn more about making the switch to propane at propane.com/agriculture.
Peanut growers, at pegging season, be sure to contact your local distributor about Tercendo Curley's crop vitality product, CATS.
The USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service has a program to reward and encourage environmental stewardship for ag and forestry producers. The Conservation Stewardship Program is voluntary. Applicants must be USDA operators. For more information on CSP, visit nrcs.usda.gov. Helping people help the land.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
Gene Powell pasture mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell pasture mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell pasture mowing.
Hi, I'm Seth with AA Lock, Dock, and Security. Have you ever thought about the locks or security on your house or business? Have you ever wondered why the keys to your new car cost so much? Well, at AA Lock, Dock, and Security, we can help with securing your valuables. We can even replace those expensive transponder keys. We can give you the knowledge that no one else will. Call AA Lock, Dock, and Security at 867-1965. That's 867-1965.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala!
Really attractive people in the studio right now, and I got to meet all three of these people at Palm Garden not too long ago. Robin and I were over there videotaping and taking pictures over at the Wine and Cheese social that they had. And one of the side benefits of going to that event was getting to meet these fine therapists, doctors, etc. And they were able to show us how modern technology, I guess, coupled with good old-fashioned medical stuff, helps people live better lives over at Palm Garden. You know, I'm the benefit of actually some modern therapy. I have had some vein work done on my legs, and they don't have to cut into you. They stick a thing in you, and I don't know. It's just
it's very technical.
But they told me they told me that in 20 years ago they would have had to fillet me basically, and they don't have to fillet me anymore. In the studio, Chris Nicolosi. I met Chris. Sorry, Nick. People do that to you all the time, don't they?
No big deal.
I met Chris at Palm Garden, and you showed me. I think you were the first person to show me and demonstrate for me the zero gravity treadmill,
Ultra
right?
G.
And Jera Figueras.
That is correct.
I just tried to remember how to say your name. Jera explained it and did a really good job on the video explaining it. Plus, you really look good on the video.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Abigail, Hago, it was nice to see you. It was hard to get a word. Everybody was talking to you that day and trying to figure out what you do. And you're an occupational therapist, is that right?
Correct.
Is that right? Well, I'm going to learn so much right now. I'm going to learn how to make your microphone sound good, too. Yeah, now I hear you. Now I hear you. Well, thank you all for coming in here.
Thank you for the invitation.
Do you all work at Palm Garden full-time? That's your full-time place?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
And are you all considered therapists?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I feel like, what's my line? This is like, what's my line? Yeah.
Your radio host, that's your line.
Yeah. And have you all done it a long time? I have a reason for asking that question.
Ooh, very long time.
Very long time?
Yes.
You don't look old enough to have done it a long time.
I know, right? We look 12 and 13.
I think I've been doing about 6 minutes and 20 seconds now.
I've done it for 12 years.
For 12 years. Well, that's a long time. And the reason I'm asking is because I'm wondering if you've seen, if you could go back and put side by side what you did 12 years ago or 20 years ago or however long you've done it compared to now. I mean, is it night and day?
Totally. If I think I'm the oldest amongst the group. This is my 23rd year of practice now as a physical therapist. Yes, and
what did you look like 23 years ago? Look how you look now.
Thank you. Okay, that's right. It's foundation.
Must have been a baby. Okay.
I do. Thank you so much. But anyhow, it is totally different.
Am I making you uncomfortable?
Yes. I'm getting ready to fall off from my seat.
Don't worry, I got you. You're okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, it is so much different. Techniques are, of course, the same when it comes to rehab and what we learned in school, but definitely the application and what we have as tools are the ones that are so much different nowadays.
So are you constantly having to learn new things?
Yes, we do. We take continuing education units every 2 years to keep our license up and also to keep our intellect for taking care of the patient's techniques, sequencing, or whatnot, to keep up with the modern science of the medical fields.
Now, at the Wine and Cheese event, you were all kind of at different stations, but I'm guessing you all can use any of the equipment that's there, right?
Yes.
Correct.
That is correct.
With the clients. So there was one thing I wanted to ask you about. And I don't remember the lady's name, Joyce. I think she was at that station.
Yeah,
and it was a device that helps you swallow.
Correct. She's a speech language pathologist.
See, the reason this one hit me hard is because my father could have used that. He had gone through a surgical procedure and he couldn't swallow. And so therefore everything was fed through him in a tube. It was so hard. You know, that would have helped him, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it would have.
They are very much equipped, and our speech therapists we have two right now, and they are very much equipped with making sure that they do the evaluation that's needed to find out if the kind of help that we can offer for our swallowing deficit patients. Yes.
And now, when you are an occupational therapist, Abigail, it's more than just working with hands.
That is correct. When we say occupation, most people think that, no, I'm retired, I don't have an occupation. So
right.
I don't really think you can help me, which is a big misnomer because occupation is activities of daily living. So for people that are retired, you still have to bathe yourself, dress yourself, groom yourself, toilet yourself, get out of bed by yourself. So that's how we help them regain that independence back.
Yeah.
And so Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how much is attitude? How much of a role does attitude play? Because, I mean, I know people who just don't want to get out of bed.
Oh, yes, a lot. Because on the get-go, if you go to a rehab center and you just, want to be catered to and not want to do stuff for yourself, then your progress and your healing is ultimately going to be very slow. So at the beginning, when we do the evaluation, we have to tell them that we can help you out, but 90% will be your work, and then we just guide you in the direction to get you out of here as fast as you can. So.
Right. And along with that lines, it is surely also very important that the caregivers and the family members are also very much involved in the care that you have for them. Because I always say this all the time, as much as we like them, we cannot really keep them. At some point, everybody has to go home, and we want to make sure that they are safe when they get there, and that the family members are also able to provide for them at home. So,
do you do home inspections?
Yes, we do.
Before you release them?
Yes, ma'am.
We have home evaluations.
Oh.
We make sure that, yes, because, it's kind of like we're very blind when it comes to what the setup is at home. And Chris can,
it makes it so much easier. I mean, sure, we work in a facility. All the rooms are about set up the same in the rooms, but when you go home, there's so many different challenges you have to worry about. I mean, they're actually legitimately get to see the steps. Can they go up these steps? Can they negotiate them? Are there armrests? Are there rails to grab a hold of to go up? How easy is it for them to open that door if they can or cannot do it? So can evaluate that. What's their favorite chair? Can they get in and out of that chair when you get them home? How high is the bed? The bathroom, can they get off the toilet? Is there a rail there? Going to the shower, can they lift their feet over if there's a threshold?
Oh, wow. So do you recommend changes?
Yes, that is our whole idea when we go to actually do the home evals, to make sure they have everything set up that's going to be safe for them, making sure that hopefully there's a family member that's available to show them as well.
Really?
So everything can be safe all along family and the patient.
My goodness. Are people sometimes reluctant to admit that they need that help?
Yes. Independence is like a huge thing for everyone. You don't realize it until you lose it.
That's right.
And that's the whole thing. It's sad. And also being able to say that, yes, I need help.
Wow. Is it full-time help, or could somebody come in there, a nurse could show up for an hour a day, and that could be all?
It depends on what we recommend. Most of the time, if we really need someone, we look for hopefully a family member's there, but it doesn't always happen. Then you look for someone that can have actually 24-hour care to be there with them, okay? Or we have to decide whether ALF or skilled nursing facility, if it's necessary and deemed appropriate.
We have, as a sponsor throughout the day, we have Palm Garden as a sponsor, so it's our job to talk about what you do, and this is very good for us, and hopefully for you too. But I want the listeners to know what you do, because it'll help them.
Correct.
And just that little bit that we saw, Robert and I have a brush with the activities department in Palm Garden, and that's got to be a big part of the puzzle too. Just enjoying your time, right?
Yes. We try to do away with the notion that you're there at the nursing home or a rehab center and you're there solely focused on the fact that you have to receive therapy. That's true. Very, very true. But nobody and no one can have therapy all day. Absolutely, our bodies are not made that way. We're made to eat and sleep and play and work at the same time. So, so play activities it's a good part of their activity also as well at the Palm Garden. So,
and the nutrition is very important too. So you can't do your job unless the people eat correctly.
That's right. Very much so. That's right.
Do you know what the zero gravity machine made me realize that I never realized before? Is that there's an obstacle within our own bodies, and that could be the knee, it could be the hips, and you showed me that, Chris. You showed me that you all showed me this when you have the weight lifted up.
Right.
And we call it zero gravity, but you're actually suspending somebody.
Lift.
Yeah.
It's a pressurized chamber which actually lifts the body up, and we can change that to either a 0% to 50%, actually 25 to 50 to 100% lift. Usually we keep it at 50% that you saw, and you saw how much lift came off from the joints and the structure of the ankle, the hip, the knee, everything. So there was not the trauma in walking, and also the joint displacement as you would get from regular walking.
So the question I had when I left, and I still need the answer, maybe you can help me now. When somebody's using a device like that to strengthen their muscles or to provide therapy for their whatever part of the body, What happens when they leave? I mean, does that therapy then click in and they don't need that anymore?
The hope for those of us who have not seen, or for those of our listeners that have not seen what the Alter-G is, it really is a treadmill that's in an enclosed chamber. And when we zip you up in there, the whole entire purpose is truly to increase the muscle strength without the constraints of any discomfort or pain on the joints. So if our goal is to be able to allow you to be able to walk in the community with less pain, then the tool that we will be probably using is the Alter-G, where we can put you in there and increase the strength of the legs.
Right.
That way it can hold the joints better as they walk out.
How do you measure success? How do you know somebody is improving? I mean, if it's a big improvement, you can probably tell. But how do you know? I'm sure it's little.
Yes, it's client-centered. So, for example, if a patient was very independent prior to coming to Palm Garden, like they were doing everything from cooking, cleaning, laundry, mowing the lawn, driving their car, and then going to, for example, an elective hip surgery or whatever surgery. So it's very goal-oriented. So it's not like a general broad category that, if you walk 10 feet, then that's progress. That might be progress for some and not for others. So it really is getting to know your clients and establishing the goals with them. When I do an evaluation, I ask them, what is your goal? And then most of them will be just for me to be able to take a bath by myself. And so the fact that
mine is to take a bath with somebody. I don't want to be by myself.
We'll have a contest.
I love that. See how different your goal is from the.
It's a radio job.
That's right.
My contract says say something like that every once in a while.
So we could work that out. I'm just not sure how achievable that is, but we do have a spa. We have a spa. We have 2 spas in Palm Garden, so that we might be able to accommodate.
Speaking of the spa, Jan did show us the spa, and that's a beautiful little area.
It is.
Yes.
And there's a door on the bathtub.
Yes.
That's a cool idea.
Yes.
That doesn't
not
leak.
everyone can.
Not everyone can actually
step into the tub.
Correct.
Like if
really?
it's just a regular tub with this high of a lift.
Right.
So not everyone can get in and out. So they made it very accessible for those that have limitation in terms of the ability to transfer.
And what's great about you guys is that when you see a patient that needs some kind of therapy, it's all individualized.
Oh, absolutely.
Correct.
Yes, very much
Yes,
so.
it is.
You have to, because that's how you measure success. So they see that it's very tailored, and then they can achieve it. So you might see, I don't know if you've seen the setup. Yes, you have in Palm Garden, where we have a kitchen, a fully equipped kitchen with a stove and cupboards and a sink and a refrigerator. So it's really just like being at home. So you might see them baking cookies and making a meal, prepping a meal, washing dishes. So
Close to home.
Do you know an important part of what you do is you? I wouldn't want to be in a facility where people weren't happy. You guys are awesome. You're sharp. You're vibrant. I think whoever hires you did a good job.
thank you.
Whoever-
Right here.
You're the boss?
Jera, Dr. Jera.
You're the boss. Oh, you hire everybody.
Yes, the rehabs. But they know that. And we all know our
Sure. Could you
responsibility.
just pull that microphone a little,
just a little bit
aim it
closer?
at you. Yeah. You can do that way too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
There you go. That'll work.
we all know that. Yeah, the guests, the residents that we come in close contact to are not feeling well. And so we all know that,
Right.
it doesn't really help them out, that we are grumpy as well. So we're all trained to kind of forget all of our sorrows and
Leave
woes at
it
home.
outside when you get to the door.
If I may say, I think I like what my patient said. He always told me that you always attract bees with honey and not with vinegar.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So-
That's
That
right.
nice?
You got a lot of honey over there.
Oh, I like that. Yes.
You have patients that have to have colostomy bags. Sometimes they might be amputees.
Yes.
Sometimes they might be wheelchair bound.
Correct.
So how do you do your evaluations to make sure they're able to go home?
Once again, it really is all depending on establishing, what the patients themselves have as a goal. We go by what they feel that they should be able to accomplish. Okay. so that they can return back to home. Yes, pretty much it. So if they say, I do have, some of them with amputation per se, and a lot of times we would have them come in and they're fresh amputees. So it might not be a more realistic goal at that time to teach them how to walk, but it's probably more realistic to make sure that they're able to function at home in a wheelchair level while we're waiting for such time that they would be allowed, to be able to be up on their feet with a, with a prosthesis on. So it really is just all depending on what's most appropriate at that time that they're at their
I mean, they've gone through something so life-changing that,
right.
Whatever. We've had a couple of people in here. We had a guy who used to come in here who made prosthetics, or his company did, and he would bring people in here that were wearing them, and they were amazing too, and there was two that I remember. One guy knew he was going to lose his leg for like a whole year. He just knew it was going to happen. I don't know if he really knew, but he expected it. And the other one, it was like an accident, so it happened overnight. And both of them had this amazing, and in both cases it was a leg. Although we met a little girl. Remember, she had one hand missing?
Yes.
Where was that?
That was at the Shriners' Christmas party.
Yeah.
the
And she had a hand missing, and she was just—it's the attitude that just amazes me. You see people feeling sorry for themselves, and they've got everything.
Correct.
And people who've got real issues, and they're not feeling sorry for themselves.
Yes.
Determination, positive attitude, that goes a long, long way.
How do you turn somebody around that doesn't have that?
You read them. You give them. I always give them like 1 or 2 days to read them. Let them react to me to see how they're going to react on the things that we do, and I try to find something in conversation with them as well.
Yes.
Find a link with them somehow.
Yes.
Family member, pet, whatever. Let's get them something to influence them to want to go home, to want to.
Really? So do you have any secrets? Like, do you ask somebody where you're from, and then you name a baseball team from their town or something like that?
If you think it's not really secret because you're interacting with them, you're going to a personal level with these people. You need to. If you're going to be real, you need to be real toward them.
That's a skill you can't learn in school, though. I mean, what you're describing right there.
But I think what's helping us now is the big screen TV that you've seen at Palm Garden.
Yeah.
It's called the IN2L. It's Never Too Late. It's one of the biggest tools that have elicited a very good response from those that are poorly motivated. So, for example, they don't want to get out of their room, but they're very interested in, like, geography or the internet or just doing puzzles per se. So we put them in front of that TV and we have them stand up or sit down in a wheelchair level doing puzzles, and they think they're not doing therapy and that they're very engaged in an activity that they like. So that makes it a lot easier. And they're like, oh, so I have to do this is my therapy? I said, yes, but in my mind, I know exactly what I'm working with. I'm working on standing balance, I'm working on activity tolerance, but for a patient, it's just finding that connection and that interest. And it makes it a lot easier with that IN2L device, because you can just do everything and anything with it. Like for a dementia patient that wants to see the first house that they lived in, so we pull up Google Maps and we just type in the address.
Oh my goodness.
Like, what? That's my house, the exact tree in the front yard. And
who's parked in my driveway?
And you see life
so it's really
like this, and it's incredible.
You see what kind of patients?
These patients like this, either patients who need the standing of mobility, you get them to go on Google Maps, you get them to actually zoom in on their house, you get them out of their shell.
That's a cool idea.
Yes.
You got them. You got them in their fun zone, their happy area, somewhere they need to be, somewhere they haven't been in a while if they're feeling this bad.
And the smiles really go a long way.
Oh,
that really helps to break down barriers.
Yes.
How do you break down the language barrier if you need to?
We do have several nurses and CNAs that we work with that are able to converse in Spanish.
Nice.
Of course, Abigail and I are from the Philippines, so that we know a little bit of language. Abigail is married to a German, so...
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, really?
So
you can speak German?
Tries.
Ein bisschen, which means a little. I can order food in German.
And I think Chris can...
You know what I heard? I heard in Germany the toilets flush with a big button. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Toilets in Germany have a big button to flush them with.
Yes.
Oh, big button.
Yeah.
On the wall. Said big button on the
on the wall, a big button.
Correct.
Yeah, well, we should have a big button. We got a little handle.
It's called German precision. You can't miss the button.
One of the things we loved being at your wine and cheese event is that Palm Garden seemed to be one big family, because you had people coming in and out from other departments that were very gracious to all of the guests, and it's just such a wonderfully warm feeling.
Yes, that's how. If I can just share with you just a little bit of history about Palm Garden. They still are being owned by Mr. and Ms. McCarver, but I have been with the company now for 11 years, and the first 7 years were actually managed by a company. So when Mr. McCarver died, Ms. McCarver didn't know what to do, didn't know the direction of where she wants to go. And so she prayed over it and prayed and prayed. And so one day it just dawned on her that her mission in life is really to just provide the very best kinds of care for the residents that we have at the facility.
Yeah.
And so that has been the direction that our facility has truly become for the last 3 years. Not that we were not in the very beginning of, well, I was there. It's just that we knew the mission of what we needed to do for all of the guests and residents that come, in contact with us. And so with all of the changes that has happened, rehab has truly benefited with that. You can see all of the top of the line equipment that we have. And it just, over the years, somehow it really did fitted with all of what we know what to do.
Yeah.
We know that we're all there, and I'm sure that the nurses and the CNAs and everybody else that
it's you guys.
The facility is, that's what we have as a goal, is really to be able to provide the very best.
That's a wonderful
care,
mission statement. To be able to accomplish that mission statement, though, in addition to the equipment, you have to have you guys. I mean, I can't tell you how much I think you are the reason it's a successful facility. Jan showed us the rooms. The rooms are beautiful.
Thank you.
If you take a tour and you see the rooms, know this, that room is as beautiful as the people who work that room.
Thank you.
And that's, I mean, you can go into a place and have a nice room, and nobody ever comes to your door at all.
Right.
And the fact that you don't leave them in the room, you take them out.
Yeah.
You show them stuff.
Yes.
Get them out of the four walls, but
You show them where they used to live.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is cool. That's a cool idea. Yeah.
And all of that interacting is really, really healthy, too, for the recovery of the patient, because it seems like once they're out of the hospital and they go right to you guys,
yes,
and you get them turned around as quickly as they can for their own benefit.
Right. Now, there are certain cases wherein, of course, we could not provide the treatment at the gym per se. Out of medical necessity is usually the case. But that doesn't stop the therapist, of course, from providing that care as well. This IN2L that we were talking about, which is really tablet overload, we call it, for us who likes to use our tablet, we do have a little version of that we can roll into a patient's room and use it as to provide a treatment.
There was one program, we were almost out of time, but it was called Big and Loud, and was that for Parkinson's disease?
Yes, it is.
Explain how that works.
Yes, it's a standardized treatment solely backed with lots and lots of research, wherein it is truly geared towards Parkinson and Parkinson's patients. And so we would love to come back in here and talk to you about that, once
the ladies who were working it showed us a video, and for the listeners, the video showed on the left side of the video the man walking with difficulty, on the right side of the video after therapy the man walking as if he never had a problem.
That's correct. And we're all very proud to say that we're one of the very few facilities in there that have a speech, a PT and OT all trained to do this, our staff. So
you guys are wonderful. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Chris Nicolosi.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming in. Jera Figueras.
Thank you, sir, for inviting us. Yes.
And Abigail Hago. Did I say your last name right?
Hago.
Hago. Oh, it's a German.
It's Hago. You have to say it like you're mad.
Hago. My mother was born in Germany. I know a few words. I know Ich liebe dich.
Oh.
Yeah, I know how to say it. I love you.
Yes,
I know that. I know how to say, do you have fleas? My grandmother used to say to my dog, "Hast du Flug?" Am I saying it right? Hast du? I don't know. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Carol McHugh. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg apologized